Today, our viewer has asked, I am on low dose aspirin because of stents. Coated aspirin has chemicals, so is uncoated better?
The short answer to this very important question is yes, actually, you'd want to go with the uncoated aspirin. So why? Now, aspirin is given for people who've had stents placed and for other reasons to keep their blood clotting. The aspirin prevents the platelets, the little cells that float around in our blood responsible for blood clotting. It keeps them from forming clots. And you need to take it on a pretty regular basis. Now, the coated aspirin is intended to prevent irritation to the stomach lining, and that's a real thing. If you take an aspirin on an empty stomach, and it's a full aspirin, especially the full strength size, the 325 milligram usual size, and it goes down into your stomach and sits on your stomach lining in an empty stomach. As it dissolves, the concentration of aspirin right under the pill is really high. And due to the shape of the stomach, the aspirin tablets will tend to fall in the same spot all the time. And as the weeks and months go by, it's possible to cause irritation, maybe even bleeding, maybe even an ulcer. And for that reason, people are rightfully concerned about GI bleeds with aspirin therapy. They said, well, let's coat the aspirin in a substance that keeps it from dissolving in the stomach, that makes it dissolve further down the GI tract, and then you won't have a problem. Well, that's true. And so a coating is put on the aspirin, and they do not dissolve in the stomach. So you think that would solve the problem, but it turns out that that coating is so strong and good that the aspirin tablet goes all the way through the entire intestinal tract down to the colon, where it finally dissolves. And it turns out that not much of it gets into the bloodstream. And so the reason you were taking that aspirin to keep your platelets from setting off clotting, actually, where you thought the aspirin was going to give you this much in your bloodstream, actually, it only gives you about that much in the bloodstream. And so if it's not really protecting you, then are you really ahead of the game by using coated aspirin? And most of the cardiologists say, no, you're not. You should really use the uncoated aspirin to get the blood levels of aspirin that you really need to protect the inside of your arteries. So what about your stomach lining? Well, the best thing to do then is just listen to the adage that all of us primary care docs wag our fingers as we put people on aspirin. Do not take aspirin on an empty stomach, even a baby aspirin. You want food in that stomach. So the aspirin tablet doesn't sit square flush on the stomach lining. And with food in the stomach, there's going to be more digestive juices. The stomach wall is going to be churning, and the aspirin is going to break up pretty thoroughly and be dispersed so it doesn't cause local irritation. So to recap, coated aspirins don't give you the effect of anticoagulation that you really want from the aspirin therapy. Use uncoated baby aspirin, but always take it with food and plenty of water, and hopefully you won't have problems with the stomach irritation and certainly the GI bleeds that people are concerned about. Good question. Take those uncoated baby aspirin. But if you eat a whole food plant-based diet and keep your arteries all clean, hopefully you won't need a stent. You won't have heart attacks or mini strokes or all those other things that make the doctors put you on aspirin in the first place. So again, the whole food plant-based diet is your ticket to a long, healthy life without baby aspirin. Hi, everyone. Dr. Michael Klaper here, announcing our new format for our Q&A with Dr. K. Annie Hagen will be asking me one question that's been sent in by our viewers. So if you want to see if your question is getting answered, do join us for our Q&A with Dr. K right here. Hope to see you then.